AnimeSecrets.org, the answer to all your burning questions.
And welcome everyone back to the Anime Secrets Classified podcast, JoJo's edition, where we go through the weekly episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Vento Oro. Joining me on tonight's cast is the wonderful Anthony Davis.
What's up?
The always extravagant Connor Healy.
Howdy, howdy, folks.
The presumptuous and mythical Mason Picard.
Hello.
And Rizwan.
And Rizwan. It's like, no, we're just gonna give him like, oh, and he Rizwan. He's
I was wondering what he would do. I figured he'd do something more insulting than that, but I just didn't know.
No. See, the man needs no other titles. He just is Riz.
Yeah, this was if this was like a post with like with Ronald, he probably said something like AKA or something like that. But that's another story.
No, I think some of you guys have heard the AKA story already.
Yeah.
Quick question though: do people ever call you the RZA?
What?
Good question. No, I am known as Riz Lord. Mainly people in Pokemon Go call me Riz Lord because that's my username.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling you the RZA because he's Wu-Tang.
That boss said the RZA.
He's more of the Ghostface Killer in my eyes.
Oh my god.
All right, then.
But enough about amazing mid-90s rap groups. We are moving on to something as amazing in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Episode 3, Giorno's Initiation Test.
This was a very good episode.
Dude, that was stressful.
So beautiful to watch. Like,
that was
I was stressed. I was worried for Giorno the entire time. Like, okay, it's gonna go out, and when it goes out, what's gonna happen?
Right.
Oh wait, that's worse than I imagined.
Like, this feels like one of the those annoying escort missions in like video games, but like if you fail the mission, you like die.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing because it's like
kind of like that. Yeah,
he never explicitly says any harm is going to come to Giorno, but you just know that this big boss guy's like, you thought I was going to let you live? You thought you were going to get away? You think I was going to get you into something that easy? You just have to hold the lighter up?
You think you can get out that easily? You think you can leave the mafia?
Black Sabbath. The stand design, amazing. I really love the stand design.
Oh yeah,
stand designs in Part 5, honestly, are some of my favorite that I've encountered so far.
Big facts.
It's really
Star
nice.
Platinum still has a huge part in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
See, I like it because it has that.
I like Silver Cherry. That's my favorite design out of all.
I was gonna say,
but it belongs to one of my least favorite main characters.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep it to myself. I'm not gonna say nothing.
No spoilers.
I was gonna say I love the design of Black Sabbath.
I was saying no spoilers when we have Part 5 and we're talking about something from Part 3.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Sorry,
about
Mason.
It. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to cut you off there.
It's all good. No, I was just saying I love the design of like Black Sabbath because it has that like Renaissance painter look to it, like a mix of a robot and like a Renaissance painter.
Yeah, so you're like, this is like super old Italy, old Verona, like real. I like that they're definitely like kind of taking. I feel like they're really basing the aesthetic of the series off of the setting that it's in.
Yes, very much so. So we know who the stand belongs to. Guy in prison, and man. Was that a stand arrow coming out of its mouth, or just a regular arrow?
I want to say a stand arrow, honestly.
It
pierced his soul.
Yeah, it's a stand arrow because it's previously announced and previously shown in Part 4 that if anybody gets pierced with this stand, either they live and get taken to stand, or they die just instantly.
Mm-hmm.
My question is where these. Sorry, I have a bit of a cough. I have a bit of a cough I'm recovering from.
It was just weird how it happened.
Yeah. No, that was me getting stabbed with a stand arrow. Luckily, I have a stand.
Right?
Yes, my stand is that I can do podcasts. So I'm wondering, where do these stand arrows come from? Because now we have a stand that has those arrows, and it kind of looked like he had more of them on him. Like, there's one in the mouth, yeah, but it looked like there was one on the wrist, and like,
I
don't
assume
know,
he
can
just
this
relives
stand
over
like,
time.
I
yeah,
was gonna say they reveal that I think like later on in the series
Okay.
that we're not gonna spoil it, but it's like
Yeah.
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
and
there's a
it's
bunch
just-
of them.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's interesting that now we have a stand that has that ability. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
it kind of makes sense. So with this this guy, he's in prison. No wonder he's managing his gang from prison, because he's got his stand to go out and deal with stuff. So he doesn't need to leave ever. He can
Yep.
deploy his stand, and if he's giving stands to his gang members, if they're strong enough, then this means we're going to be dealing with some pretty interesting characters later on.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if he's only hand-picking his crew of people from those that are, like, worthy and have the wherewithal to get stabbed with an arrow and given a stand, and the fact that he's doing this so often, you got to see some pretty interesting stuff come out
Right.
of that.
Yeah,
But-
it's
But what it would really interest me is like, this has never happened in either like the manga or anime, but like, what would happen if someone were to try to initiate themselves into this gang, and the light never the lighter never just went out, and they decided, oh well, the lighter didn't go out, so am I in? Would it still count, or would he just be like, nah, you failed, or
I bet he probably would have been good, so that means we can trust you. Now for the
No.
real test.
right?
I was
And
gonna
then
say,
fight.
oh
I
god.
was gonna say, one way or another, I think the way he does it is he expects them to fail the test.
He expects them to fail the test, and then
Yeah, because-
and then if they pass the test, he says,
the real-
now for a true test of your resolve.
I was gonna say, I think the real test is the arrow, one way or the other.
Yeah, I wonder if like would he like give like say, hey, okay, well, if my stand has an arrow, would I just go ahead and just shoot with the arrow anyway?
Mm-hmm.
It-
So the
Even
main
if,
thing,
even if it didn't come to that, I still shoot you. Also, I should shoot you an arrow regardless. So yeah.
mm-hmm.
See, it's reminding me of part 4 where Kira's father just goes around town just shooting random people to like say like, okay, you have a strong enough resolve to basically be the backup for hiding my son to distract everyone. But now this is like, okay, I can create an entire mafia of stand users, and it's just gonna get more ridiculous from here on out, because you have a guy who's in charge of like picking people to be in the mafia, but only if they're strong enough to survive getting pierced by the arrow.
Yeah, it's a really nifty test and nice little twist. Makes me wonder if the stand just has like a trigger for it to appear once the flame goes out.
I think it's like once you reignite. I think it's once you reignite it is when it comes out.
So that's pretty unique, and yeah, its design is scary.
Yeah,
And
very.
it's weird because it's like it's a remote stand, so
Mhm.
he's just sitting in prison and he could just like operate his stand, and he'll know everything that's going on, but it's like he doesn't have the distance restriction that most stands
well,
have.
that's the thing. Most of the time when we see stands, we're used to seeing like within 5 meters, 10 meters. There's a serious restriction of the space within, not just within they can go from their user, but also the space within their powers work. So I'm honestly thinking, no wonder this guy's the boss. Yeah, he might be a big, fat dude who eats cheese and
Fingers
caviar on crackers and
fingers
wine and like watches
and
TV,
fingers.
which fingers also. I mean, which honestly, that's me on my days off. Like, I gotta admit, when I saw him just like clicking the TV on with his glass of wine, and he's just like sitting there, like that little frame is like, oh god, that's me on the weekends. Just
That's always on the weekend. That's always on
beside
the
the point.
weekends.
Yes,
Dude is living the life right now.
yes, but he must be really powerful if his stand is able to cover that much ground and do that much.
Yeah, because
and he doesn't need line of sight or anything. Like, he's
just feels
gotta
like-
be a really powerful. And I'm wondering if he got that stand if the reason why he got so big and fat was because he's like, I don't care, man. I've developed my stand to the point where I'm so masterful at it, it does literally all the work for me.
I think
then
it
it makes me wonder, then it makes me wonder, how, does the stand also give him his ability to do whatever he just did in the prison? It makes me wonder, is that also,
It could be.
Because
like,
they
how does he
never
get
really actually
wine and
established that. Because for one, how is he able to turn himself from a bed into a person that just kind of was that just illusion? It's so confusing because they never established that it was a power or not.
Well, and stands can always have random powers because look at what Golden Experience can make anything into any living thing, and then it can also allow him to attack people, freeze them in place, and kind of time stop-ish and make their senses go crazy, but they aren't actually able to interact.
Right.
So now we're getting to the point where stands clearly have more varied abilities that can do other things, and I think that's where the real mystery, there's going to be even more mystery in part 5, but I think we're turning back into the action part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
This episode was very much a build-up episode for the next one.
Yeah.
But they did a good job kind of building it because, even before Black Sabbath or Dark Weekend, whatever they end up calling it, your preference
I'm
gets.
still not going to call it that.
There's no wrong choice here.
Black Sabbath is the only choice.
Exactly.
There's no wrong choice. Anyways, the scene where he's trying to escape or trying to get out of the prison with the lighter.
Dude.
That was actually some pretty good stuff.
That was just very the entire time I was holding my breath and I was like, no, he's gonna get caught. Something's gonna happen, and then you just because you see the steam in his the smoke coming out of his hand, and you're just like, oh no, they're gonna notice.
Right, and I'm like, man, what is he gonna turn this thing into that the guards are just gonna let him pass all willy-nilly?
Question for the resident JoJo expert, as he's self-proclaimed as.
Who, me? Yes.
Yes, you. So, I know you've read the entire manga series. I don't know how recently you've read
JoJo chapter.
Yes. I don't know how recently you've read part 5, but
I think
are there a lot?
I read it last year. I read it last year. So
I read it during the summer before our panel at MechaCon. So
this past year.
Yeah, this past year.
Okay. Are there a lot of differences between what we're seeing in anime versus what the manga had right now up to this point?
Yeah, actually, there are a few. There's some paintings in Polpo's cell that got replaced, and even referencing them, it was completely taken out. And the difference at the beginning of the episode is in the manga they just meet up in front of the prison. They don't walk together as shown in the anime. And
so what I was trying to figure out from the question was, if it was different enough, that would explain why you, who has already read all the manga, would get as psyched out as I was watching it, because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I would imagine
I'm still psyched out watching all the stuff happening.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just, I will say the creepiest thing in the entire episode was the first time you see Black Sabbath just walking and then just disappearing.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. Yeah.
That reminded me of some Michael Myers stuff right
spooky
there.
Just in time for Halloween.
Yeah, that was you see it out of the corner of your eyes, then you look back and it's gone. And you're like,
I think that could be a throwback to the Italian Giallo movies, which are movies.
There's always a black pair of leather gloves doing the killing. Which, in the case of Dario Argento, one of my favorite directors,
absolutely,
that was actually him every time. Those were his hands. That's for another podcast, though. I really like the. I'm liking the spookiness there. Tension was the absolute theme of this. The tension.
The tension is so sharp. You could have been nice.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
really went all in on that, and I really like when they have those episodes. And you'd get to see that in part 4 when the kid was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, like who Kira was. And that's another thing I love about JoJo's, because you can get that, white knuckle, like, are they going to get through the fight, like, action sequence, and then you can get that slow burn dread like you got in this episode, like, oh man, is he gonna get the lighter to stay lit, like what's gonna happen? And then of course when you see that stand, you're like, oh shit, that stands out, what the hell is it gonna do?
Right.
Because that anytime I see a stand, other than the fact that I do have knowledge, even though I haven't read it, I have osmosis knowledge of a whole bunch of stuff from part 6, part 7, part 8, all that stuff. So I'm like,
I just know up to part 6.
What's this stand gonna do, and how's it gonna work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to reveal everything it does, aside from like just having the arrow inside of it to like kind of test people. You're going to reveal like how he works, how the fight's going to go, and it's just going to be. I want to see that animated, because that fight in that first like big fight like in the manga is just like, it is so like. You just get this like clench in your chest. You're like, oh my god, this is really happening, and like, it's gonna have, like I said, kind of like that Italian horror movie feel, where you just don't know what's gonna happen next.
Mm-hmm. One thing most people didn't notice, because like if you rewatch the episode where Jordan was like freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god, what is this thing? Like, what's this stand? Like, this is Popo stand." He goes back, and he's about to step back, and he steps on a shadow. As soon as you step on that shadow, guess who starts looking towards his way? Bam, Black Sabbath. So that kind of gives you a hint of what his abilities might be, just by that one little shot of him, like a stepping on that shadow, and Black Sabbath reacted to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people didn't catch that, but I did.
Yeah, no, I didn't even notice that. I just thought
No.
as soon as he stepped, he made the noise, and Black Sabbath just like turned around, like, who else is there?
Right. I had to go back. I was like, wait a minute, did he literally just like make a noise? Like, was it the noise or was it the shadow? But it might have been the shadow. But we'll have to see in the next episode.
Right, and I think like
Indeed.
Because Sabbath is an automated stand, it's just looking similar to oh shit, I'm
Sheer
blanking
Heart
on it. Sheer Heart Attack. It just does. It's acting on just instinct and not kind of
orders. Yeah.
Yeah, orders. So as soon as he heard the noise, it's like there must have been somebody. It's like, who else is there? Go attack. Like
Also,
it has its orders, and it's just gonna keep going through them.
Can we just talk about how a fact that Koichi made us like laugh this entire episode with how his face looked?
Dude, Koichi's great.
Koichi is one of my favorite characters and will always be one of my favorite characters. He's a good boy, a great boy, one of the best boys, and I'm so glad that he's in there. I don't know if he's just in for comic relief, but if he is, I'm glad that he is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the manga, he's only in there for like the first few chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's paying us a visit.
If Koichi had stayed in this arc like longer than he should have, I would have died, and I'm glad that he didn't. I'm not even joking. He would have died trying to help these guys out.
Just imagine if Araki let him join the mafia.
Please.
You don't want that, because we want him to live.
Koichi lives a modest and upstanding life. He doesn't need to join these mafiosos.
But you know what's really, really ironic about this thing, though, was the fact... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was thinking Koichi's the most likely person to not be suspected of being in the mafia, so therefore he has a good advantage.
He's also the first one to probably squeal.
Yeah. But what's also weird, ironic is that like the episode where his stand gets was evolving to Act 2 actually just aired yesterday. Well, technically it's Monday, so it'll be Saturday. Saturday, his episode when he was fighting against Love Deluxe, aka Yuka Magishi, was just aired not too long ago on Adult Swim.
Yeah, because I think it goes new episode of Part 5 on Friday, and then new episode of Part 4 dubbed on Saturday night.
Yep, correct.
So it's definitely seen Koichi. It'll be interesting to see if because he's still at the dormitory. Like he didn't really leave. So it'll be interesting to see if he helps out in the fight.
Right.
I'm not gonna say any spoilers. Not gonna say any spoilers. Nope.
Yeah.
All
no,
I know.
Yeah,
all
no
I know
spoilers.
is bread lighter has apparently become a meme.
Oh yeah, people have just started.
Yeah.
People just started doing it.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to like Panera Bread, ordering a small loaf of bread, and taking like a big lighter and just putting it in. They're like, and then like.
Well, I have a
Barbecue
friend who
bread.
showed me a guy had like a propane torch that he had just shoved through a baguette and turned on. He's like, "Am I doing it right, guys?"
Go
I remember
Perfect.
Arby's actually at the beginning of the year they did the lighter in the sandwich.
That's
And
right.
no-
Really?
No one caught the reference until just now. Like
Really?
I'm on a bunch of JoJo's like meme groups, and
Mhm.
everyone was just like, "Hey, remember this from earlier in the year, like January?" And everyone was like, "Oh my god, how did we miss that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how did you guys miss that?"
Arby's is
Like-
great.
Arby's just knows how to promote.
Yeah,
wings.
well, Arby's, it's because I actually know a
Oh
little
my
bit by
God.
that. I know a little bit about that. It's because they have a very talented graphic design person who is acting as their PR and online person.
There's
Have y'all ever seen the
sandwiches.
tweet Arby's made for it?
I did not.
The tweet says, "Just have to keep an eye on it for the next 23 hours."
Wow.
Hmm.
I remember seeing that. I'm like, huh,
Wow,
this is a reference to.
reference.
I just,
There.
no, it's
I
like it's
posted
just
it in the
completely-
Discord chat for y'all.
I just also love how like whenever Arby's posts JoJo's like adverts, it just goes over everyone's heads, and like everyone's just like, "Why is Arby's, posting all these Japanese cartoons? Why can't they just,
Oh my
post regular
goodness.
things?"
Somebody
You
asked
see it?
them what the name of the sandwich was, and they're like, loaded Italian.
Hey,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my
it's
god,
coming.
I see it
First-
now. Okay, so Miguel,
Yes.
I think the cover photo for this podcast needs to be the sandwich from Arby's.
please.
Hmm.
I don't know if I want to do it yet, but if you're listening to this in the future and you see this sandwich,
Do you know where it came
just
from?
know I was impulsive. Yeah.
I mean,
Riz
I
is-
live at least like 10 minutes from the nearest Arby's, so I think tomorrow I'm probably just going to have to get one. However, while I will get the loaded Italian, I'm also going to have to go for their classic, the beef and cheddar. 'Cause
So-
I don't even know what
those
I'll
are
eat
good.
at Arby's. I've never really been to Arby's.
beef and cheddar,
I-
always go for the beef and cheddar.
I
Beef
have
and
a-
cheddar and curly fries.
So I have a totally weird story that one of my JoJo's cosplay friends wrote me to A Fest 3 years
and
ago.
line that.
I was picking up, and we decided to stop at Arby's. So he's like, "Oh well, I have a bunch of money. I'm gonna get something off the secret menu," and he got
Ooh.
the Meat Mountain, which is they take all the meat that Arby's makes, and they
make a
just
mountain
jam
out
it.
of it.
And they make a sandwich mountain out of it. And he ate it. I was in shock, and he was cosplaying Gyro for the weekend, and his girlfriend was cosplaying Johnny, and I have never been more horrified of the human body in my entire life.
I'm going to do it.
I may have to go visit Arby's. I like your menu a lot.
I'm going to
Oh,
do
yeah.
it.
Sorry,
eat
I
the
know it's
meat
through
mountain.
podcasting, but this is really important now.
This podcast is brought to you by Arby's. Remember,
Arby's,
Arby's.
sponsor.
They've got the meat.
Arby's, give
please
us
give.
percentage.
They're
Please
sandwiches.
give his
promise.
money Arby's.
They're
I promise we're not getting
sandwiches.
paid by Arby's. I'm just getting really hungry for Arby's now.
Remember,
Hey, Riz,
kids,
let's go to Arby's.
Arby's.
What, Mason?
They've got the meats.
I said, hey,
They're
Riz, let's go. to Arby's.
sandwiches.
You want to go, Mason?
No, I have to be up for my new big boy job at like 5 in the morning.
I don't
so-
mean tomorrow. I just mean like in the future.
yeah, let's do that.
God dang it, Arby's.
But enough about
Stop
sand.
by Arby's.
All right, back to the actual anime.
Back to the show. Good tension
I think you
builder.
mean the Arby May.
The art manga. Get it right. But good build of tension. Poplo is a really big dude.
He's
Like-
as the kids say, an
Yeah,
absolute
I was
unit.
trying to figure out. So when I first saw him, I thought his stand power was to become really, really big.
I thought his stand power was to become a bed.
I figured it
when I
was
first watched it.
general like transformation.
I don't tell me if I'm right, or if I'm wrong, but don't. Okay, I think his stand power is not Black Sabbath. I think that's somebody else that he has worked for him.
No,
Nah.
No, Black Sabbath
No.
is a stand,
It's-
but
very
like
awesome.
I said earlier, like they never really established why he's able to do things he does without the stand.
I was gonna say, like, the way it worked out, like, it couldn't have been anyone else because the
Because-
stand seems to be linked to that lighter itself.
clearly it was the janitor's stand.
Oh no, Mario!
No, not
Press have to pay your respect to
Mario.
Mario.
Not Mario.
F. But I think,
Oh wait, I'm sorry. In the anime, it's Luigi, not Mario. Manga, it's Mario.
but yeah, just the way, like, you know, he kept focusing on the lighter and, you know, put the emphasis on the lighter. I think that the stand is tied into that lighter. Just like
Oh,
Shirin
kind of like
talked
how there's that sword, Anubis,
Anubis.
and like the sword is the stand or whatever. Like the stand is the object.
Yeah. Or like the stand just possesses the object and then that's how it works. I don't remember.
I don't know,
that
but
well.
because I've read a bunch of things that this is his stand, so I'm not sure. if
Yeah,
that's-
it's confirmed by Araki even that this is Pulpo's stand.
No, you can't argue with Araki.
I mean, it's Araki, the man who openly hates dogs in manga. So
he
But he
doesn't
loves
hate
them.
dogs. He just can't draw them correctly.
No. It's not that he doesn't hate dogs, is he wants you to feel that this is a truly villainous person by having them kill dogs. And he's not wrong.
why dogs?
Because
I
we
know.
love dogs. We see them get hurt. We want the
But
person who hurt them to
but
get
look at
hurt.
it this way:
Bad.
no
You're pulling
dogs,
the wrong hurt.
no dogs were harmed, and they're making it part 4. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. There's one dog, but another dog was fine. So
Never forget Iggy.
Police was the better dog.
What?
And Danny.
Police was the better dog. Koichi's dog.
Yeah, well,
We don't even
Arnold.
see police that much.
He was still the better dog. Nah, I love Iggy. But yeah, no. So I think the stand, it's his. If not, it's just like locked into that lighter. I don't think we're gonna see like another person. So I'm excited for next week's fight.
Oh,
fight.
And then oh god, the end of the Pulpo saga is just, whoo.
There's
I
more to
definitely
come,
think-
guys. We're just letting you know there's more to come.
There's
More craziness.
Yeah, more bizarreness.
I can't imagine Giarno will be happy to see him next.
Ooh.
oh, he- oh,
man,
oh,
you
Jor-
have
oh, Jor-
no
Jordan's gonna be-
idea what's to come.
Oh boy.
It's-
You guys
We-
are hyping
we-
this up. I'm excited.
it's boy howdy. I don't want to give it away, but it'll be a bang.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like he'll wish he never slipped up.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
It's funny because for Halloween, I'm actually going as Philkin 7 from Harvey Birdman. Attorney at
Oh,
Law.
really? That's awesome.
Thinly veiled spoilers.
Ah, costumes.
Round people.
Words.
What have I done?
It's all your fault somehow.
I'm feeling horny.
God.
Wake up
Anyway,
feeling so horny.
How many more weeks of
has
this
anyone
are we
got-
going
has
to deal
anyone got-
with?
It's just so funny to like just watch this
Has anyone
amazing
gotten-
arc happen and then bam, like you're at the ending.
I
Just
wake up in the morning.
I literally we saw that we heard that song just yesterday actually while I was at work. I was like, this is the JoJo song now. You see so many
I
comments
swear
it's
to
just like saying they were here for JoJo's.
Yep.
I swear
So,
to God, if this becomes
has
a
anyone-
#1 hit song because of this series,
You know what? I
I'm-
actually got to go look at the sales chart in Japan because I know that's what happened for "I Want You." It like charted the Japanese charts again after it
Was
got
it-
reviewed for part 4.
What's the Japanese sales music sales trend?
No idea. I think I'm just gonna look up the song again.
Oh,
Are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I think Savage Garden was like a perfect ending for the JoJo's Part 4 and 4 ending.
sweet Lord. I'm going to check the
But-
Japanese.
But yeah, I was gonna say, like, has anyone gotten used to that song yet, or
Oh,
The
it has been ingrained-
Beginning
it
or
has
the
gotten-
ending?
It has
Don't
gotten
worry.
ingrained in my head.
He's talking about the ending song.
yeah, the ending song?
I like the
Freaking you.
opening a lot, but the ending, I'm still.
I mean,
It's just kind of funny because I grew up listening to this song and now I'm just like, wow. It's full circle now. It's like, wow, this is a song as a child and
It's
now
full. You started with Sozas and you ended with Sozas. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
no.
Yeah.
The song aired when I was growing up.
see, I'm just waiting for like, you know, they'll probably only have it for like half the series, and then I want to say the middle episode, like the middle of the series, we're gonna be like, okay, what's the ending song? And all of a sudden we're gonna hear, so, I tell you what I want, what I really, really want, and then
Oh my
everyone's
God.
gonna lose their damn mind.
No.
Or even better, today is going to be the day that they throw it all back to you, and then we will hit peak meme with JoJo's Part 5.
Could you imagine they played Smell Like Teen Spirit? That'd be amazing.
Well, that's an early '90s song. We're going for like the late.
Yeah.
Early
We're in
2000s,
mid
like-
'90s right now.
No, we're in the
Well, 'cause
2001.
here's
Oh,
the
okay.
thing. I as a Seattle area and Washington local right here can tell you, Cobain was dead. I think by, hang on a second,
By '94.
It was like
94. Yeah.
94.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with like the Brit pop like era, and like girl pop and boy pop bands are becoming a thing again.
Please give us Spice Girls for Part 6.
Right.
I think this is also when like Metallica was still big, but everyone hated them because like they were like completely changed their sound. They cut their hair, and everyone's like, "This is a betrayal." And then like prog rock is booming again for some unexplained reason. David Bowie's still huge.
Oh, Davey, why did you have to go?
But yeah, overall, good episode.
Very good episode.
Oh yeah.
Builds up excitement for the next one, and
Rock solid.
hopefully we meet the other boys soon.
I think we're gonna have to wait until like probably the end of episode 4 or probably the beginning of episode 5 for that.
Yeah, as long as we're getting closer, no problem with me. So again, it's like this was more of a build-up episode. You know, there was a few tense moments, but unlike episode 2, which was like the culmination of Bruno's and Giorno's fight, you know, there wasn't as much to see animation-wise in this one. So this is going to be a little bit shorter, but man, oh man, I got a feeling next week might be a little bit
Next
longer.
week we might be here for a bit longer.
For
Yeah.
sure. But quickly, closing thoughts, go in alphabetical order. Start with Anthony. Go.
I definitely enjoyed not only being able to see Black Sabbath. Yes, I'm calling it Black Sabbath. I'm not calling anything else. Be animated. I was also glad that we actually got to see how Zora was going to be able to get out of this whole situation with the lighter thing, and I just love the fact that that stuff in the background was oh well. He literally ignored everyone that tried to ask him for help. He was like, "Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good." It just overall was a great episode, and I just love JoJo's, honestly.
Connor.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. As I said before, I really liked the tension. They're showing that they're capable of doing both slow burn and high intensity action. Loving the designs, loving the mystery they're ramping up. Can't wait for the next thing. I loved the end. The way they end with Black Sabbath's hand just inches from Giorno's face, just about to strike, and they're like, what move is he going to be able to pull off in time to block that?
Or who will come and save him?
Exactly. Yeah, who knows what will happen. That's the fun part about it.
Mason.
Overall, this is honestly, it's just such one of the good early episodes where it has that good tension. You get to see who's pulling the strings behind the group, who's going to be creating the mafia stand users, and just I love the whole the situational comedy behind the lighter test, and just the sheer impossibility of just keeping this lighter lit for 24 hours, and the horror movie kind of introduction to Black Sabbath because of its connection to the early 70s metal band Black Sabbath and the old horror movie they took the name from. And so I think that's just a good throwback to all the horror that Iraqi loves. And I'm excited to see the big fight for next week because that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
That's going to be wild.
Riz, any closing thoughts?
So I agree with all the things above, and all I gotta say is, Sue, I'm still on the JoJo's hype train.
And there ain't no getting off this hype train anytime soon, guys.
Nope.
No, it was really, really well done.
I am buckled in tightly to this train. Mm-hmm. I'm buckled in tightly to this train, and that's saying something because trains don't usually have seatbelts.
Oh yeah, we are on the bullet train, my boys.
Yeet.
For sure.
Yeet.
So I can't wait for the next week's episode, and that's when we'll catch you guys all as well. So signing off for Anime the Secrets to Classified JoJo Cast. I'm Miguel. I was joined by Anthony, Connor, Mason, and Riz. Say goodbye to the beautiful people.
All right, later, guys.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.
See you around.